Okay, so you've inherited property in Dallas. Congrats.
Oh.
But, now what? Selling a home, especially one with family ties, it can feel, well, overwhelming to say the least.
Absolutely.
We're diving into a guide from Redpin Properties, a
Mm.
local Dallas real estate firm, to, help us all figure out how to price inherited property effectively.
What I find really fascinating about this guide is that it acknowledges like the emotional weight of this process
Yeah.
while still offering, practical advice, especially for the Dallas market. It's not just about the numbers, right?
Right.
It's about making smart decisions during a potentially really emotional time.
Yeah, and they make a really interesting point right off the bat. They recommend prioritizing a quick sale over, like, trying to squeeze out every last dollar,
Right.
which feels, I don't know, counterintuitive at first. Why do you think they lead with that?
It's about the bigger picture, holding on to a property longer. It means more expenses. Think like mortgage payments, utilities, maybe even like surprise repairs pop up.
Oh, yeah.
A faster sale, even if it's slightly below, your ideal price, it often leads to a better net return in the end. Plus, think of the emotional toll of a really drawn out sale.
Oh, absolutely. It can be draining.
Yeah.
And that actually leads perfectly into their next point about separating, emotional value from market value.
Yeah.
How do you even begin to detach sentiment from something like a family home?
It's tough, no doubt. We get attached to things, especially homes with memories, baked in. But data needs to be your compass here, and that's why they strongly advise getting a comparative market analysis. A CMA, yes, from a local agent. This gives you a realistic snapshot of what similar properties are actually selling for in today's Dallas market.
So it's about understanding what buyers are willing to pay, like right now,
Yeah.
not what the property, you know, might have meant to us or what it was worth, years ago.
Exactly. And this is where local expertise is key. The Dallas market, it's dynamic, and an agent who's plugged into those nuances is invaluable.
Yeah.
Let's say you inherit, a charming mid-century modern home.
Okay.
Its architectural value is high, but is that style in demand in that specific Dallas neighborhood right now?
Right.
A CMA can reveal those insights.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And this next tip is interesting, offering a repair discount instead of renovating yourself.
Yeah.
It sounds like a smart way to navigate those often, needed updates.
Yeah, it's brilliant, really. Let's say the inherited property needs a new roof.
Okay.
A hefty expense, right?
Yeah.
Instead of replacing it yourself, you could price the home lower and be transparent about the needed repair. This attracts buyers who see the potential and are comfortable factoring that cost into their budget. It saves you time, money, and the headache of managing renovations.
It's like you're widening your buyer pool to those who are maybe looking for a project or who want to, like, put their own stamp on the property.
Exactly. Plus, renovations can sometimes unearth unforeseen issues, right?
Right.
Leading to more time and money spent. By offering a discount, you're essentially transferring that risk and responsibility to the buyer.
That's a perspective I hadn't considered before. So we've talked pricing strategies,
Yeah.
but how do you even begin to determine the right discount or starting point? I feel like this is where that CMA comes back into play.
It's absolutely crucial. The guide really emphasizes, dissecting the CMA with your agent. You're looking at location, size, amenities, recent sales data in that specific pocket of Dallas. It all helps you pinpoint a competitive price that will generate interest.
It's interesting, they even mentioned strategically pricing slightly below market value
Yeah.
to potentially, like, spark a bidding war. That's not something you hear every day, especially with inherited properties.
It's a savvy tactic. Imagine this. Two buyers, both interested in that charming mid-century modern we talked about.
Okay.
They see it's priced competitively, maybe even a bit lower than others in the area. It creates this sense of urgency,
Yeah.
right? And excitement, potentially driving the final price higher than your initial asking.
So it's about, like, understanding the market, being strategic, maybe even a little bit bold with your pricing. But beyond the numbers, there's the emotional side of dealing with an inherited property, right? Especially if there are other inheritors involved.
Oh, absolutely. That's where things can get, really complicated, family dynamics, differing opinions on, how to handle the property. It's essential to approach those conversations with empathy and a commitment to, open communication.
Redpin, they emphasize transparency as, like, a core value throughout this entire process. And I can see how crucial that becomes when you're dealing with, family members who are also emotionally invested in the property.
Absolutely. Imagine like siblings inheriting their childhood home, right? One might be really sentimental, wanting to hold on to it, while another might be focused on, a quick sale for financial
Oh,
reasons.
that's such a relatable scenario. I bet a lot of our listeners have, either been there or know someone who has.
It's more common than you think, and that's where open communication is. It's key. Everyone needs to feel heard and respected. It's not just about dividing assets, it's about navigating like shared history and emotions.
It's almost like you need a mediator as much as a real estate agent in those situations.
Right.
So someone to help navigate those, sensitive conversations and find like common ground.
Precisely. And a skilled real estate agent, especially one experienced with inherited properties, can often play that mediating role. They can help set expectations, address concerns, and guide everyone towards a solution that feels fair and equitable.
So it's not just about the real estate transaction itself, but also about understanding the emotional like complexities that come with inheriting property,
Mm.
especially when, other family members are involved. What advice would you give to someone navigating this, maybe feeling overwhelmed by both the emotional and practical, aspects of it all?
Don't underestimate the power of seeking expert guidance. A good real estate agent can be an invaluable resource, not just for their market knowledge, but also for their ability to navigate, these sensitive dynamics. They can help you understand your options, facilitate conversations, and ultimately alleviate some of that burden that you might be feeling.
It's like having a trusted advisor in your corner, someone who understands both, the market landscape and the emotional terrain, that you're navigating. Someone who can bridge that gap between what you like, want to do, and what makes the most sense for, everyone involved.
Exactly. And remember, there are resources available to help you navigate the legal and financial aspects as well. Don't hesitate to, reach out to estate attorneys, financial advisors, or tax professionals if needed.
Building a team of like trusted experts is such valuable advice. Now, going back to the Red Pin Guide for a moment, they touched on a point that I think is especially relevant here: the importance of having those difficult conversations about the property, like before you even list it.
That's such a crucial point. Having those upfront conversations with co-inheritors can prevent so many misunderstandings and disagreements down the line. It's about establishing clear expectations, understanding everyone's perspectives, and ideally coming to a shared decision-making process.
It's about like setting the stage for a smoother, more collaborative experience, even if there are, some bumps along the way.
Absolutely. Transparency, honesty, and respect are key. And remember, sometimes seeking professional mediation can be incredibly helpful in these situations. It can provide a neutral space for everyone to voice their concerns and work towards a resolution.
That's such an important reminder that it's okay to ask for help, especially when dealing with, emotionally charged situations like this.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to reach out for support, whether it's from family, friends, or professionals who can, guide you through the process.
Speaking of support and guidance, let's loop back to the CMA. Red Pin emphasizes that this document isn't just about determining a listing price. It's a valuable tool for facilitating these conversations with co-inheritors.
That's a great point. Having that data-driven perspective can help ground those conversations in objectivity, shifting the focus from emotions to, facts and figures.
It's like having a neutral third party, the data, weighing in on the conversation. So instead of saying, like, I think the house is worth this much because of sentimental value, you can point to the CMA and say, here's what, similar homes in the area are selling for.
Exactly. It provides a common ground for discussion and helps manage everyone's expectations. And remember, a thorough CMA will consider, various factors that might not be immediately apparent, like recent renovations in the neighborhood or shifts in market trends.
It really, underscores how important it is to have that data-backed foundation for these conversations. It's not just about like opinions or emotional attachments, it's
Uh,
about having, that concrete information to guide those decisions.
Precisely. It brings a level of objectivity to a potentially really subjective process, which is, I mean, it can be invaluable when emotions are running high.
Absolutely. And now shifting gears slightly, I'm curious about something else Red Pin mentioned, the potential benefits of selling an inherited property as is.
Right.
It seems counterintuitive, especially if the property, needs some work. But I wonder if you could shed some light on why they might suggest that approach.
It's all about understanding, your priorities and the market dynamics. Selling as is can be a really strategic move, especially in a fast-paced market like Dallas. Buyers are always looking for properties, and some are specifically seeking out, those projects or homes they can really personalize.
So it's about tapping into like a niche market, those buyers who are excited about the potential and maybe even willing to pay a premium for the opportunity to like customize the property.
Exactly. And let's not forget, like, the practical side, right? Selling as is means that you avoid the hassle and expense of renovations. You're essentially like transferring that responsibility to the buyer, which can be a huge relief, especially if you're dealing with, an older property that might require significant updates.
It's about like streamlining the process, minimizing your upfront costs, and potentially even attracting a wider pool of buyers who aren't necessarily looking for that like move-in ready experience, right?
Precisely. And in a competitive market, I mean, that can make all the difference. It's
Yeah.
about presenting the property as like a blank canvas, allowing potential buyers to envision their own dreams and plans.
That's
Well,
such a good way to put it, a blank canvas. It's about appealing to that like imaginative side of potential buyers, allowing them to see the property's potential beyond, its current state.
Exactly. And sometimes you know that like raw, untouched potential can be incredibly enticing, especially for buyers who are, looking for that unique opportunity to create something that's truly their own.
It's a reminder that what might seem like a drawback, the need for repairs or updates, can actually be positioned as a selling point. It all depends on, how you frame it and who your like target market is.
Absolutely. It's all about understanding your audience, adapting your strategy, and highlighting the aspects of the property that will resonate, most strongly.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. We've covered everything from, pricing strategies and market analysis to the emotional complexities of inherited property and the importance of open communication.
It's been a pleasure exploring these nuances with you. We hope our listeners, feel empowered with the knowledge and insights to navigate their own real estate journeys.
And remember, whether you're facing the prospect of selling an inherited property or simply, navigating the Dallas real estate market, resources are available to guide you every step of the way. Don't hesitate to seek out expert advice, do your research, and most importantly, trust your instincts. This is your journey, and you've got this.